Oh, that's right. You have no fur. Sometimes I get burned around my nose if I stay out too long. Are you alright? I feel Amicus rub a paw over my shoulders and I shiver. Well, we'll know by tonight, but I feel alright.
When I get in the shower and it burns. Like, that's how I know I'm sunburnt.
I've just been walking every day and I'm like, oh, right. You can just have consequences from that.
Dude, I get sunburnt all the fucking time.
I don't want to put on fucking sunscreen to go on a
just to go outside for 5 minutes.
Like,
to walk to my car.
I don't like it ever. Oh, this song's playing. This one's so chill.
It seems like it'd be on that lo-fi and chill channel.
I really like the song. It's just incredibly relaxing. This would be like what I'd pick as like a song that's like, I need a reminder that it's time to do something, but not like as like an alarm.
Yeah, just like a subtle,
some kind of move on tone.
Oh, like the day is shifted.
Yeah, it does. Oh yeah, it's why the reason I feel like that is because it feels like something that would play during like the day-night cycle transition in like Terraria or Minecraft.
Yeah, I could see that.
This could be like the sun's coming up song for Minecraft or something. As we trudge onto the beach, I see Alex curled up on a blanket, his fur bright and shiny under the sun. Judging by the plates around him, he's already eaten. Amicus chuckles. Such a feline. Anyway, you'd better keep your eyes off me. I want the fur to dry before I put my undergarments back on, so I'm going to stop covering up for you.
Ooh.
Automatically, my eyes start wandering toward the wolf before snapping back to look straight ahead. But then I start to think. I am going to be here for a while, as far as I know. Maybe I should get used to this whole nudity thing now. Things that are choices.
Well, Keith. I mean, it's your channel. You gotta censor stuff, so it's up to you. But I mean, you know what I would pick.
Yeah, no, reason out your thing.
Huh?
Reason out your thing, like why you want to pick it and so on. Discuss
why I want to pick it.
Yeah,
because we're in Rome. We are. It's like a Roman themed place.
Super Rome.
Do I have to explain anything else besides looking at naked people? I'm always up for that.
Yeah,
it's like one of my favorite pastimes.
I find the choice interesting because it gives Marco a moment of like agency where he can, like, he doesn't have a lot of power in this situation, but he can, like, there's a really specific choice of like, do you specifically push forward and embrace this kind of thing, or do you keep hiding away? And like that's like a thing that you can do specifically. I mean, in a lot of visual novels or like dating sims where you have choices like this, to pick like the first option where you're actually choosing to engage is to move your relationship forward. Yeah. This one's more interesting because I get the impression it's only like Amicus is our only person. So if you were to play this game like super straight-laced, I wonder if there would just be no opportunity to get with him romantically. I don't know if that's something that could actually happen. I mean, looking at Amicus makes me aware that the implication is that you're like, that's probably the point of the game. It's probably not for people who don't want to look at it's probably not for people who don't want to look at Amicus naked, right? That's probably not the demographic of this game. But hypothetically, if you were playing it and you were caught off guard and you don't want to engage in the furry gayness, could you go through the entire game without ever engaging with it? I'm wondering if that's actually an option. No. Okay. Just hard no. Well, I mean, at the risk of like spoiler stuff or whatever, it's like this game does really specific and interesting things with the choices it does present you, which are relatively spaced out. It's not a super choice heavy game, but this is not a dating sim. Well, I mean, I'm aware it's not, because... And I don't even mean like the multiple routes, like multiple dates situation. I mean like you and Amicus is not a dating sim. It just, there is the story, more or less. Yeah. And there are variations of scenes and stuff in that. And there are choices that will lead to multiple different endings. And I want to talk about that when we get there and so on. But this is not it. I'm just thinking, like, I feel like technically, I don't know. He said not to look, but it wasn't in a serious way. If I was playing a different game and there was maybe... Not in a serious... Oh, you're worried about, like, Amicus's consent? Yeah. Oh, no, I think I read this as, like,
he's warning you because he's trying to be careful with your boundaries.
Yeah, and I'm aware of that, which is why I don't feel bad looking.
Because he just walked out naked in front of you in the shower in the first place and was like, oh, haha, you don't like that.
If this was a different game and there was like some person who's like, okay, I'm gonna change, like, don't look like and they were genuine, I would never do it.
That's super bad.
Even if I thought they were immensely hot. I'm not that person.
That's like an entire. It's funny. Pop Culture Detective made a video about exactly that, like this month, I think, where it's like the specific brand of like 90s like voyeurism, or all these scenes where they would just constantly film women for the gaze of the guy,
dude,
of the male audience. But specifically, like there's always a guy in the scene who's not supposed to look, and then does, and you're like, that kind of makes the character worse, like every time.
No, it does.
And the implication is by having that scene happen so consistently in that style, the implication is that like everybody would do that, wouldn't they? Is like that's they're like encouraging the idea that's normal male behavior, and that's weird.
I find women attractive also, and my goal in life is to not be a 90s stereotype dude.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do the things in the movie. I wouldn't be an American Pie protagonist, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I would never be that person. In this situation is very different. The tone's very different. I mean,
it's like the opposite, really, because it's literally just he's comfortable being naked all the time, and he's just being careful with your boundaries because you recoiled once, basically.
But I am so curious because I guarantee this pie chart of people that said the first option, I think, is probably far greater than people who would say the second option. But I wonder if there's some reward for picking the second option, because I think it's such an unfavorable choice.
We can save.
Yeah, but I mean, are we gonna know the result of our choice immediately?
Yeah. I can't see which one's highlighted.
Dude, I can't. Oh my gosh, it was really it's so light.
It's like the same color as the beach, so it's really hard to see. There we go. Maybe we can save.
Ooh, cheating.
Boom, boom. I guess we can pick the non-canon option first, because then we can just keep playing after the one we actually want to pick.
I want to pick the top one.
Yeah,
of course I want to pick the top one
first, because then I only have to load once.
Okay.
Nope. Just because I'm on an alien moon doesn't mean I'm gonna conform to their way of life. I'm not planning to stay here for that long, I hope. Besides, Alex has been here a while, and he seems to be getting along fine without conforming. So I go on keeping my eyes just slightly to the right, letting Amicus fade into a vague gray blur. We reach the sightseer, and I see Alex has laid out the food in a neat little line of plates. Though some of the pastries look a bit squashed, everything seems to have survived the emergency dumping that they suffered. Amicus grabs a few large plates of quiches and what looks like fruit pastries. Meanwhile, I grab a folded blanket, a bottle of wine for Amicus, and a smaller bottle of the vegetable-tasting juice I'd had yesterday for myself. We make our way over to the shade of the trees before I roll out in the blanket, and Amicus starts to tie his underwear back on. Finally, he sets down with a huff before reaching out for the wine, so his underwear is already back on. You sure you don't want any? So he dried off fast, apparently. Anyway, load. Oop, don't look.
Oh no!
Well, my quick save wasn't where I thought it was. Anyway, I hit quick load thinking it would load the most recent load, but it loads the most recent quick load, which I haven't been doing quick saves. So it went somewhere else.
Definitely when in Rome, please.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. And if this is a normal thing for the wolves, why not get used to it? So I look. Amicus grunts in surprise when he sees me not bothering to avoid looking his way. I think I might censor this by just zooming in a little bit. I don't know. Until it's out of frame.
It's probably your best bet.
Or there might be a bar. Either way.
All I want to say is that there's one bit that's the color of the dark fur, and there's the rest of the bit's the color of the light fur, and I'm interested in that.
The dark fur. Oh, yeah. No, it's the color of his skin.
Oh, I know, yeah, but I'm saying his dick is dark gray, but his balls are are furry still, so they're white.
No, his dick's the color of his skin, like his nipples and his pads and his nose.
Yeah, but I just think it's funny his balls are still furry.
Choices. What? Human? Amicus's paws snapped.
I wonder if they had a whole meeting about that. And the people, he was like, he had a whole like day just sitting there thinking about how he wanted to color this dick.
I'll have you know that furries have mostly decided this a long time ago.
Oh, really? Is this okay? This is the norm.
This is not that controversial.
I don't know. I just find it interesting. I like that this has been decided. I'll duly noted.
We'll assemble the council. I smirk. What? I might as well get used to it if this is normal around here, right? Though I gotta say, you're acting like it isn't. Amicus pauses, then pulls his paws away from his crotch, his face flushed. You just surprised me is all. Anyway, the blushy face. Amicus walks stiffly up to the beach, past the sleeping Alex while I try to keep up.
Poor Al, yeah, stay asleep, Alex. You're not gonna like
It's
that.
kind of satisfying how embarrassed he is, considering how much he'd been teasing me about it. And honestly, now that I've seen it, it isn't really that big of a deal.
Maybe he's...
The wolf's cock and balls are just like humans.
I mean...
The things I'm saying on air. It varies so wildly. Like... We have a stupid highlight I'll show you later where me and Bert are joking about it. And then I made him come. So like when you're in the middle of a dumb joke, you can say way worse shit and not even register. But I'm like, I gotta say his cock out loud. Cock, penis. Let's get this censored now.
Dick.
Sure, maybe with a little more fur on the balls and a darker shade on the cock, but still
see, they do talk about it.
Yeah. We reach the sightseer, and I see Alex has laid out the food in a neat little line of plates. Though some of the pastries look a bit squashed, everything seems to have survived the emergency dumping that they suffered. Amicus grabs a few larger plates of quiches and what looks like fruit pastries. Meanwhile, I grab a folded blanket, a bottle of wine for Amicus, and a small bottle of the vegetable-tasting juice I had yesterday for myself. We make our way to the shade of the trees before I roll out the blanket and Amicus starts to tie his underwear back on. It's a really short sequence. The audience will thank it though, because like, whatever form of censoring I do, there's still the fact that like, the part of the body that is most likely to have something that you need to censor is right behind the text we're reading.
Yeah, it is a little bit inconvenient for an editor from an editing perspective. It's a bit frustrating
for the audience because I can't censor it in a way that doesn't block the text by either cropping it out or blurring it or putting a black bar. Finally, he sits down with a huff before reaching out for the wine. You sure you don't want any? He asks before guzzling some of it down. I mean, maybe at dinner or something, and I'd rather not get buzzed right now. Oh, really? I'd have to drink quite a bit more than this bottle to become inebriated. Guess that explains how he can drink so much of it for every meal. Well, you are a lot bigger. Anyway, this stuff is great. I easily pull out the cork of my own bottle before drinking down the ice-cold juice. Dude,
ice-cold vegetable juice sounds so fucking good. I love that shit, man.
Amicus pulls a face.
Ooh, yeah.
I like the,
I like cold, like, pressed vegetable juice.
Some of the
I like carrot juice, man. I like that stuff.
You know,
I love vegetables.
No, it's not the texture.
Vegetables over fruit for life.
It's not the texture, because I drink cold pressed, like, greens and stuff. I just don't like the tomato.
I love tomato.
I like tomato. I don't like V8. I don't like tomato in V8. I like the fruit V8.
If Keith ever ends up on a quiz show, the answer to what is Stephanie's favorite produce item of all time, it's tomatoes, guys.
And mine is...
you like pineapple. Is that your favorite produce item of all time, though?
Is that the right category?
It's a produce item.
What is a produce item? Now
fruit or vegetable. That's kind of how I'm referring to it.
I was like, well, what's the thing I eat every day?
Onions.
Yay!
That is a good answer.
Non-stop
too.
Onions. No,
but you can't just like. I mean, I guess. Yeah, I guess so.
Just eat onions.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, I never just eat a tomato.
I do.
know you can, but
people would think I'm weird for that, though.
No, I definitely like slices of tomato. I don't think I want to bite into a tomato.
Ooh, yeah, whole tomato, dude. Like an apple. Ooh, yeah.
Ugh, avidity. Stuff tastes awful. Wine is so much better. Amicus immediately goes for the fruit pastries, shoving two in his mouth at the same time. Maybe just prefer sweet things, like someone that's talking right now. And
Yes, he does. Very much.
And slow down. Don't you take the time to enjoy your food?
I like salty things.
Amicus frowns at me with his mouth full. I do enjoy it. That's why I eat it fast. This is such a well-drawn character. I love every face he makes.
He's very cute.
I smile and go after one of the quiches instead. We eat in silence for a few minutes, then I remember what Kato said earlier. When do you need to be at that thing Kato was talking about?
Oh no.
Combat practice? We've got at least an hour yet. And what does that involve? Oh, just striking and grapples. I'm just glad Cass isn't here to join us. I hate sparring him. Really? You told me last night he can't even compete with you. That's exactly why. He has a condition where his bones are less dense than what is normal, makes them easy to break. Because of this, I'm much more of a training dummy for him than anything. Basically, he just uses it as an excuse to punch me in the stomach. There isn't much I can do to retaliate that won't seriously injure him, so I prefer training with Kato. Didn't you tell Cassius you'd punch him yesterday? Amicus laughs. I did, didn't I? Well, that's why he was so offended. But now he knows not to bother you.
I'll break my brother's bones for
I
you.
will snap you in half. I've learned to be gentle with him since we were pups, but my limits can only be pushed so far, especially now that I have you. You said you used to get along with him when you were pups? Yes, but I think that had more to do with him admiring me when we were younger. He used to look up to me, which was preferable to how he is now. What happened? Amicus shrugs. We grew older, then Mother died, and he was always very close to her. They shared a lot in common, including their disease. Amicus pokes around the pastries before picking up one that looks to be filled with red fruit. Then I suppose we've always been, different philosophically, which would be fine if you weren't trying to take the throne from me. So if you were next in line to the throne, how could Cassius just challenge you for it? Is that how it's supposed to work? No, not really. Kato is the one deciding to do things this way, which he can because he's the acting emperor. Cassius has been building a following amongst the wolves for the past several years. Amicus shakes his head. I thought he was simply trying to solidify his chances of becoming my advisor, but his speeches and writings were so different from my father's. I didn't realize he was cultivating a certain persona for the emperorship eventually. Or I did realize, eventually. But I never thought Kato would buy into it just because of Cassius's popularity. But he did, and here we are. Amicus shoos away a worryingly large fly and lands near the plate. I thought I'd have more time, anyway. A lot more time, but Father's passing was sudden, so I'm left with what I have now. What happened to him, if you don't mind me asking? To Father? His ship crashed while landing in Adastra City about 5 months ago. It's a rare thing to happen, but it does happen. I'm sorry. Well, he's with the parents now, so I'll see him again. But we should have had so much more time left, just like Mother. How old was he? 157.
Well, that's gonna make our relationship complicated. But also, aren't their days shorter? So.
We know that
the lingua
translates numbers.
Yeah, it translates them as close to what we understand them. Yeah.
So by saying 157, it probably means what we think that means.
Oh no, we're gonna get all. We're already all gross and wrinkly and skins everywhere.
So
we're gonna age faster. He'll never love us. When we're 60, he's gonna be hot still.
He's gonna be like,
fuck.
Why'd I get this pet?
Ew, gross. It's all. Ew. Its skin moves too much.
It's the part of having a pet where you get to just spend 2 years giving it shots and waiting for it to die. And it's like, oh.
Can we euthanize it yet?
No. No. Like, you love your dog, but also it's like it's the depressing part of it. It's when they're
as I look down at my own. That's your future. I'll take care of you till you die, I promise.
Look at this floppy, gasping idiot. She knows we're talking about her. She always pushes me and then the chair rotates.
Yeah,
She's
sorry.
heavy enough. I blink. He was 157? Yes. Years. Yes. Amicus looks at me, confused. How long do you people live? It varies, obviously, but about 250 to 300 years. Wow. How long do your people live? Amicus looks slightly apprehensive.
Oh.
Realize
We're like, actually, it's like we, you know.
it directly threatens to be the same dynamic as humans and dogs, where you're just like, well, every time you get a dog,
Well,
you just resign
we are
to the idea.
a pet, so
They
it makes
last like
sense.
10 to 15 years or something. Or like 8 to 15, I don't know. 15 might be optimistic.
8 is like a really large dog, like a mastiff would live like 8
all
years.
the shitty little dogs live forever.
The
'cause
shitty dogs.
They're fueled by their
my fucking
rage.
dog lived to be like 20, and he was the meanest dog I ever met, and that's why he lived so long. But like, yeah, 8.
It's like the angrier the dog,
Yeah.
the longer it lives.
Maybe like 8 to generally like 8 to like 16
Yeah.
is normal.
I don't know, 80? 100 if we're lucky. Oh. Amicus's ears fall.
I'll have to watch you die.
That's so short. Compared to you guys, yeah. Wait, how old are you? 20. How old are you? Amicus is still frowning. 23. That gives me some pause, trying to work out how much that would be in a human lifespan. Wait, so are you an adult, or... Amicus seems to recover. Well, adulthood varies among species and cultures, obviously, but legal adulthood is 20, so yes, I'm considered an adult. Huh, that's about the same as humans. But the difference is you die a lot sooner. That concerned look again. I shrug. I've grown up with the idea, so it's not all that shocking to me. Amicus seems to be thinking. That is not a face you see very often. I feel like that might be his least used expression. I'm not used to seeing it, I feel like.
He's not thinking very much.
It's not... Forethought's not a strong suit so far.
Yeah, it's okay.
Well, maybe we can do something about it. I don't like the idea of you being through a fourth of your life when you've only just reached adulthood. Yeah, I don't love it either.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
frown.
Fuck that.
Well, what are you gonna do about it? We aren't able to live so long naturally. We take supplements and medication that slows the aging process. Maybe we could consider some for you. It's an interesting thought, but I don't like the idea of being a guinea pig for wolfish medication. Maybe. Let's figure out this whole Emperor thing first. Alright. Amicus picks at his claws for a while, and it looks like he wants to say something, but he doesn't, and just stays quiet. Finally, just as I'm about to ask him what's wrong, he looks over at the sleeping Alex. I'll be right back. And with that, the wolf suddenly gets up and jogs over to the cat. I can't help but feel the conversation was left unfinished, but then I see Amicus get down on his paws and knees as if sneaking up on Alex. I frown and watch as the wolf gets closer, his paw reaching out for Alex's earring. I guess the wolf wasn't being very quiet because Alex suddenly rolls over and squeals as the wolf leaps at him.
Amicus! No, this is my best one. Don't mess it up.
I sigh and get up, a little reluctant to leave the shade as I make my way over to the pair. Alex has rolled up into a little ball, clutching at his ear as he tries to hide the grapes.
Don't you dare. Do you want to tear my ear off?
I'm being gentle. If you just stop trying to fight it, it would make this easier.
No!
Alexios tries to roll away, then spots me.
Marco, help!
I sigh and watch for a bit before deciding to save the poor cat. I look for an opening, then pounce on Amicus's back, wrapping my arms around his neck and my legs around his waist, trying to throw him off balance. Oh ho ho! Not so fragile now, are we? Amicus swings me back and forth, trying to throw me off, but not really putting any effort into it. Meanwhile, Alex scrambles out from under the wolf before turning and giving him a shove. Ugh! Amicus starts to topple backwards for a moment, and for a moment I think I'm about to get crushed beneath his 300-pound wolf in the sand, but Amicus turns as we fall, and we end up laying sideways on the beach. Alex stands to the side, quickly dusting himself off before adjusting his earring, frowning.
You know, I might as well just stop wearing this thing. There's no point if half of it's plucked by the day's end.
Amicus just lays there and laughs. His laugh is infectious, so I laugh too. They're too good, Alex. Maybe you should start wearing inedible berries instead. But he wants to be a snack.
Well, he is a snack, dude. He wants to fit into that Roman theme. He's fitting in really good.
Oh, he's committing. Alex huffs as he looks down at his nose at us.
It's a cultural staple of my people, and honestly, what you're doing is rather disrespectful, especially as a prospective emperor.
There you go. He's going for the spot.
Yeah.
The weak spot. Amicus waves his paw dismissively, laying flat on his back next to me, his arm flopping over his head. You're a friend. Obviously, I wouldn't do this to an actual ambassador.
Ooh. I am an actual ambassador, Amicus.
Yes, but a friend ambassador. Alex sighs.
Anyway, thank you, Marco. You should obey your master, yes. But it is also important to keep your master in check when he oversteps his bounds.
Hey, don't encourage insubordination, Alex. Amicus's big paw resting above my head comes down to ruffle my hair. I realize for the first time since I was abducted that I'm at ease. Happy, even. See how that lasts. Then Alex looks at the sky.
Amicus, what time is it?
Amicus suddenly sits up with a grunt, also looking toward the sun. I don't know. Is it close to the 11th hour?
I was asleep, so I'm not sure. I'd ask Calm, but we're outside his boundaries.
Amicus sits for a moment, then sighs. Well, I suppose we should be off, just in case. We gather up the food and blankets. Don't you guys have portable clocks or something? Amicus shrugs. We do, but usually I just ask Calm. The wolf taps his ear. But like Alex says, his signal doesn't reach the island. Amicus is starting to look a little nervous, so we pick up the pace and pack ourselves into the sightseer, a bit more crowded now with Amicus inside. When we're halfway to the shore, Amicus asks the time, then groans. Damn it, half past the 11th hour.
Uh-oh.
I find it interesting, just as a note, so we talked before about, like, the performance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, and then, like, how it kind of analogs, like, closeted behavior or even just passing and so on. Then there's the surveillance aspect, like that part where, like, if you have a secret to keep, which is built into the idea of being gay in many cases, like, you feel surveilled because of the fact that you're guarding yourself around other people, so you're kind of aware of who's around or if anyone's around and how you're perceived and so on and so forth. So the fact that there's literally an AI watching you all the time throughout the entire game is kind of significant, and that the one time so far where he's at ease and he's comfortable and is free is when they're all away from that. They've physically left the range of the surveillance and can just act however they want. Like there's noticeable like subtext to that.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, I get the impression that he seems to like be friends with Calm. I don't know what Calm. I don't know the extent to what Calm would say to anyone or what they would perceive about anything. Does Calm just answer any question that anyone asks him? Doesn't? Well,
because you'll remember earlier when he said that he was tired of lying because it's weighing them down. Marco said, "Well, you still haven't told them that I'm not a child." Like, or he said that you still told them that I'm a child, like adding on to the number of lies he's doing. And when he said that, Amicus like shushed him and froze and stared up and around.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, you're right.
Like he's worried of being heard. So he doesn't trust Calm or anything. Like
I guess Calm just is objective. So if you were to ask Calm a question, Calm would answer it like as accurately as possible, despite knowing what it means.
And he's not the emperor. Right now, Kato is the acting emperor, so that raises worrying questions for that kind of stuff, yeah. They could have blown it right there for all they knew, and I'm not even sure if Amicus knows if he blew it there or not, because that's how he reacts. Like, even he doesn't know.
He doesn't know, like, the extent to which it's a problem.
Yeah. Anyway, back to that shitty world. The amphitheater is small compared to the massive one I'd seen in Rome. It might only be able to fit 100 people at most. Though Alex tells me that the really big one is in the city center. He sits next to me on the bottom bench with the stairs between us as we watch Amicus stand alone in the center of the pit. He has his paws on his hips, looking around, waiting. Well, I don't think he is here.
Clearly.
Do you want to be my sparring partner for the day, Alex?
No.
Alex scrunches up, one paw going to cover his earring as Amicus just laughs. I look around, not seeing the old wolf anywhere. Are you going to get in trouble, Amicus? Amicus shrugs, leaning one way, then the other in a sort of stretch. Probably, but Kato's always upset. He'll probably just make me train an extra hour tomorrow or something. Besides, I've got most of my exercises in at the lake. Amicus suddenly does a handstand, his feet poking straight up in the air, and I'm amazed he's able to keep perfectly balanced. Alex quickly looks away as the hanging cloth of the wolf's undergarment falls upward, even if everything is still covered. Well, mostly. I can see lighter colored fur that covers his front also covers his inner thighs. Then Amicus falls backwards, keeping his paws on the ground while his feet land with a thump, the wolf's back arched, making a bridge. It's kind of impressive seeing such a thick, muscular body be so limber. That's when I notice Amicus looking directly at me from his upside-down position, watching me watch him. I quickly look away, blushing, realizing that the wolf is just showing off. Amicus pushes off his paws, smoothly standing up straight. Well, I suppose we could go back to the palace since I'd need a partner to do the rest of my training, unless... Amicus glances at me. Marco, would you like to assist me? I think I'll leave it there for now.